Is there also, so is there divine will and God's will for us, and how can we find it out? How can we, and what was the point of him giving us free will? Anyway, we just need to find out what his will for us is.
Exactly. God has will for us and then gives us free will. Why did God do? It's very confusing. I agree. There's a very simple answer. When you have a child, have you had a child?
I have just started
Just having one right now. Okay. What's your purpose with this child? Do you want it to do everything you say?
I want to try to give it free will.
Yeah, you want it to be able to learn to experience its own life, don't you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that bring you a lot of joy? Yeah, it'd bring you a lot of joy as a mother, wouldn't it? To see your child grow, become self-sufficient, to, in the sense of not reliant on anyone externally, to herself or himself, and to actually grow and engage his passions or her passions and desires, and to actually follow their life with passion, and to see them happy, fulfilled, content. That'd be absolutely beautiful, wouldn't it be? That's exactly what God wants for you. The irony is that when you do that, you are doing what God wills, which is God designed you to become a free-thinking, sentient being that exercises its passion and desire in harmony with love at all times, and does whatever it wishes in that skeleton of love, in that framework of love. That's how God designed you. So you could say in a way that God has a will for us, in the sense that God desires you to be the best person God designed you with the potential to be. That's God's will for you. But if you're asking the question, does God want me to go down the street, turn left, turn right, go up the hill, turn left, turn right, and then meet a person at a certain time? My answer to that is, do you want to do? Because if you want to do that, then God certainly wants you to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I got into one point in life where I couldn't take any decisions at all, and I tried to do methods of divination and tarot cards and trying to ask God. And I just became so confused trying to find out what's God's will for me that I couldn't do anything at all.
Exactly. And in fact, what you do when you do things like that is you give your will over to whoever tells you what to do. You see, one of the things that I get accused of frequently is that I'm controlling people. I don't see how that's possible, given that I'm talking to you about free will and that you need to decide what you want to do. So I'm saying to you that one of the things you need to do is decide what you want. Decide what your passions are, what your desires are, and do it with passion and desire, being completely humble to the experience. And if you're humble to the experience, certain things will happen, sometimes bad things will happen, and you'll have to work your way through that emotionally. And then certain good things will happen, and definitely a lot of good things will happen eventually if you follow that process. If you put your hands in another person's, you'll put your life, in another person's hands, only their will is the thing that you are following. Now, God didn't give you free will so that you would then abdicate your free will and give it to another. Does that make sense? Even if that other is God. God gave you a gift of free will so that you could use it to the best ability that you have and to your own betterment. You can use it in any direction you wish, even. And God is happy every time. God says, wow, yesterday she did that really hurtful thing to that other person yesterday. She's at least using her will. I would love to see her use her will in a different direction, because then she could become the best person she could be. But if that's the way she wants to use her will, I gave it to her. That's the way she's going to use it. What we need to do is decide how we're going to use it. Now, what I'm saying to you is if you use it in a direction that creates pain for yourself, for others, it will also eventually create a lot of pain for yourself. If you use it in a direction that is loving and truthful with others and yourself, you are going to create a lot of very beautiful things in your life. Unimaginable things that the majority of you have never even experienced at this point. And when you pass in the spirit world, you'll be absolutely amazed at the things you can create through exercising your will in harmony with love. But you can also exercise your will in disharmony with love. And I've seen many dark people, dark spirits in the spirit world, right, who are so black with their unloving passions and desires that they have literally destroyed their own body through the process. And that is also your potential choice. You can make choices that go in that direction too. God gave you that ability. The only thing you don't actually have the ability to do is to actually kill your soul. In other words, you are going to have to experience the results of every single choice you make. That is one of the laws, the law of self-responsibility. Now, if the choices you make are in harmony with love, then the results are going to be fantastic and you'll be completely happy. But if the choices you make are the results of very dark emotions, and you make some very choices that harm other people and yourself, then you're going to find, to get out of that state, you're going to need to go through quite a lot of pain. And many of the spirits that are with us today have not understood that. They've not actually understood that the reason why they're in a lot of pain is because they have made choices when they're on earth out of harmony with love. And it's not our definition of love either, by the way. See, often what we define as love is not God's definition. If you asked 300 years ago the average Christian whether he should kill a Muslim, he would say yes. Now, most of them wouldn't answer that probably that way today. But 300 years ago, you imagine if you had that feeling in you and you actually went out and killed some Muslims thinking you were doing God's will. When you passed over, even though you thought you were doing God's will, that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you were or not. And remember, God's will is that we act in harmony with love. Right? That's his desire for us, her desire for us. So if we act out of harmony with love, there are going to be different things that happen to our soul as a result of that choice. We can make the choice, but we're going to have to experience the responsibility of it. That's free will. Free will always has associated responsibilities. Does that help you understand free will a little more? Now,